happy.
And we're live. We've got Dee and Taylor from Redemptive Cycles here hanging out with us. Guys, thank you for coming to chill.
Yeah, welcome.
Absolutely.
I bought a bike from you guys about 3 months ago. I think it was you. Your glasses stand out to me. It reminds me. And it's been a lot of fun, man. I've had a lot of fun riding it, like doing mountain biking and stuff. But I'm kind of foreign to the world of cycling in Birmingham. I don't cycle like downtown and through the streets or anything like that. But I've tried to learn a little bit about your organization, and I thought it'd be rad to have you guys come on and kind of tell us a little bit about Redemptive. So how long have you guys been working there?
I have been there about 3 years. I've been involved volunteering off and on for several years, but during a lot of the formative times, I was living in Shelby County, so it was, come up for trample and be involved a little bit. But I started working at the shop late 2019, which was, late 2018.
Something like
Yeah,
that.
2019
It all
was
kinda
my,
blurs together.
I got 1 year to practice, and then the pandemic happened, and oh man.
Crazy. How long has Redemptive been around?
We technically like 2010, 2011, but I think it's established 2012 is when we got our 501. I think, don't quote me on that. We've been in the location we're in for about 8 years now, and we're coming up on our, what we call our 10-year anniversary soon. So 2012.
Dude, well, that's rad.
That's rad, yeah.
So who started the organization? Is that person still with you guys or with Redemptive in any capacity?
So Marcus Fetch started it way back. He was working out of I guess he was working for a construction company at the time.
Pull that a little closer.
Oh, sorry. So Marcus was working for a construction company at the time, and then his boss was letting him run it out of the warehouse, I guess where they kept all their stuff at. And so it was like open one Saturday or so a month, or maybe like every weekend for God knows how long. And then they moved to the same building we're at now. And we were like 3 or 4 doors down when Extreme Fitness was on the very corner, and then it was us, and then Magic City Motor Scooter. Well, would have been Magic City Motor Scooters. When Faith was at the old building. Before I guess it was their in-between time where Yo Mama's and Urban Standard was.
Oh, yeah.
Is
Over
where
on
Faith used to
2nd
be.
Avenue.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then they moved down to the Acme building where we're at now, and now they're where they're at. But so Marcus was around there for a little bit afterward. I think he kind of took like a hands-off thing after the shop started running really well. When we had 3 good employees, we had Furman, Erica, and Ryan, and then I think he just stepped back to the board, and then I think he's just on the board now, and he's just kind of out exploring the world right now.
But he's still involved, I guess, with
Yeah, a little
Redemptive.
bit.
Okay.
Yeah. He helps with like our tall bike joust stuff and designing things from time to time.
Okay, cool.
Ever a hype man.
Yes.
Always a hype man.
Well, Redemptive's cool because you actually you're a non-profit bike share thing. What sets you apart from other bike shops like, Cahaba Cycles or something, for example?
Well, you nailed it. We're a nonprofit bike shop. We're the closest thing that Birmingham has to a bike co-op, though we're kind of a hybrid concept in the sense that we run a rather straightforward retail space as a means to fundraise for our charitable efforts. So we exist as the retail space, but also the 501c3 organization, and there's a little bit of overlap there. Basically, everyone that works in the shop also has duties on the 501c3 thing. So, for example, I'm shop manager, but I also call myself the program coordinator because I run the Earn a Bike and sliding skill programs, which we can talk about those in a second. Let's see. And Taylor, of course, is our head mechanic, but he also is a volunteer coordinator.
Okay. But you guys both work for the shop?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, so like full-time mechanic for... That's cool, man.
That
That's
is
an
pretty
awesome
rad.
job.
Oh, yeah. No, it's a sweet gig.
Dude, that'd be great. So what's a typical day look like for you? Do people just can anyone bring in their bike that's broken and just, hey,
Oh, yeah,
I broke a sprocket or whatever?
Yeah, so I mean, like we have like a completely normal, same as dropping off your car and or going to any other bike shop that like there's on the spot repairs that can be done, and then there's also stuff that it's like, okay, well, this is going to take me a couple days to do.
My bike just got ran over by a bus.
Right.
Can you
Have
fix
it by noon.
Wash the blood off.
Sure, I'll get right on it. Yeah. But yeah, no, I mean, it just functions like a normal bike shop. You can come in and do walk-ins and or leave stuff that needs to be scheduled out and or really deep dive, complete tear aparts and put back together, that kind of stuff.
So how big is the team? Like, do you guys? I'm sure you guys stay pretty busy. So
Yeah, there was originally 3 of us, and then in the past couple of years, we've been able to get some part-time folks on, especially for the summer and through the pandemic. We needed help.
sure, yeah.
But so there's 3 of us, and then 2 part-time folks at the moment.
Okay, cool. And you are able to handle the load of bikes.
Kinda,
that
yeah.
Okay.
Kind of.
Every day's different, has its own challenges, so it takes a lot.
So where do you guys get most of the bike? I know like you guys have a lot of used bikes and stuff, and the bike that I bought, I may have even spoke to you when I called on the phone. I was just looking for a bike and looking
Sure.
to get into cycling a little bit and more mountain biking. You were like, yeah, we got this like retro '90s full suspension GT bike. I think it'd be great. And I told you I was about 6 foot tall. I was like, do y'all have anything that would fit me? He's like, I got one bike.
Yeah, and it's a cool one.
And it was cool, man. It's been awesome. And I'm sure if that bike could talk, I think we looked it up and it was like a 95 model or 94 model or something like that. So it's
Yeah.
been around a long time.
Really early in the full suspension design, but actually it's still to this day a good design and basically indestructible as long as you keep track of your bushings and stuff. But that rear shock's never going to fail you.
Sweet. Well, I don't have anything to compare it to. So, I mean, I've been having a lot of fun riding on it and stuff. But you said that you guys have like an earn a bike.
Yeah,
Or am I saying that right?
earn a bike with the EAB.
Okay.
So you asked where most of our bikes come from, and we do sell new bikes, like a traditional bike shop. The vast majority of the bikes that we process through the shop are donations, which of course is a 501c3. We can give tax receipts, and most of those feed into the Earn a Bike program, but some do get reconditioned for sale to fund the programs, like Earn a Bike and Sliding Scale. And sometimes, people who are incredibly generous, believe in the mission, will donate things like nice road bikes, which don't make a lot of sense for the Earn a Bike program, but they are a great way to raise funds and to help people in Birmingham get into the sport, since we pride ourselves on keeping the bikes that we sell affordable. Particularly through the pandemic with prices on everything rising, we were just like, no, we're just going to stay the course and be us about it, which I'm really proud of.
Yeah, that's really cool. So you said people donate like a nice road bike, and it's not really doesn't really fit the profile of what you are looking for. How so? What do you mean by that?
Well, when you're trying to pick something for someone that's going through the Earn a Bike program, you want something that is very durable, something that won't fail them, something that is practical to ride around in a city. If I had my druthers and all the funding that I could ever want, everyone that did the Earn a Bike would get a brand new 700C hybrid. Maybe one day. We'll see. Grow the organization.
Just like good middle of the road.
Yeah, like a do anything.
No
sort
pun
of bike.
intended.
But what we really focus on are older mountain bikes, particularly the rigid variety from the 90s. But, front suspension, back then single coil, is also pretty durable. We focus on 26-inch bikes because the tires are plentiful and affordable. Everything's easy to fix. The smaller your wheel is, technically, the stronger it is. Thank you, physics. So we're trying to focus on things that we can fix and put into the hands of people that need something that is reliable. Road bikes are, I'm not going to say unreliable, but they present challenges.
What's the major difference for somebody who doesn't understand the big difference between a road bike versus a mountain bike? I mean, obviously the suspension, I guess, is a big deal.
Sure.
Versus a rigid frame, but what are the main differences?
Well, it gets even a little weird since we're focusing on older mountain bikes, and then the sport has divided into a ton of different disciplines.
So there's a whole plethora of
Yes,
bikes.
but very generally, an older mountain bike has more in common with a current hybrid than it does with a modern mountain bike. The position's going to be relatively upright. It's going to have a fairly raked out fork. It's going to be fairly stable. Whereas a road bike is going to have you hunched over. Particularly older road bikes put you into a more aero position, aero meaning
Tour de France, yeah.
aerodynamic,
Yeah,
yes.
all right.
Which they are fast and they do the thing, but they're not comfortable and they're not super practical.
I can understand if you don't know how to ride it, it'd probably be easier to wreck being in that forward position, maybe. Or
Maybe. I mean,
maybe, I don't know.
there are some dudes out there rocking road bikes, and that is their preference. And some of these dudes are incredibly fast, like Chicago.
Oh, yeah.
That man. Whew. If I could get him like a current gen Tour de France sort of machine, that you'd never catch him.
Is this a local dude?
Yeah, he's
A frequent flyer, I think, is what we've kind of like coined them over the years. Like
Okay.
folks that have like been coming through the shop like I mean, literally since I started working there 6 years ago.
Gotcha.
He's a gentleman experiencing homelessness who's, of course, taken advantage of the services that we provide at the shop.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah.
And just rides his bike, uses it every day, survives on it. But he very much prefers the road bike. So you do occasionally run into folks like that. But we try to focus on things that are practical just to make sure that the people are getting something that, like I said, isn't going to fail them. Bigger tires, they don't fall into the cracks. They're more likely to survive potholes and stuff like that.
Yeah, because road bikes have those real narrow, thin tires. I guess those are easier to tear up and stuff, run into a curb or something. Yeah. So how does the Earn a Bike program work exactly?
So we are partnered with various missions in town. Some of the more notable ones, Brother Brian is right down the street from us. Firehouse, which has moved a few blocks down, but still nearby in Fountain Heights, or other side of 65 from Fountain Heights. Jimmy Hill, the Salvation Army, a couple of the rehab programs, though I am pretty flexible on where people do their community service hours. So generally it's just a conversation with me. I'm not going to hardline them into going to a particular place. It all starts with service. I don't really care where you do it, so long as the service gets done. But how it works is we ask people to go and do 8 hours of community service. Generally speaking, a lot of the men and women are already involved in these programs, so it's pretty straightforward for them to go to their program coordinator and tell them that they're doing our Earn a Bike program, which, we're all familiar with each other. Pardon me. And then once they have their 8, they come to me and we will schedule them for their final 4, where they help us out in the shop, cleaning and organizing, but also I'll make sure that they'll have the opportunity to hang out with Erica and Taylor in the back and learn as much as they care to. Just have an opportunity to learn to fix their own bike, ask questions, stuff
Sweet.
like that.
Dude, that's awesome. I need to come spend some time with you because I don't know the first thing about working on my bike. Like, if something were to break, I would just have to bring it to you guys and be like, can you fix this?
We have mechanics classes and stuff that we offer.
Okay.
We do a class last Wednesday of the month that pretty regularly. And we also have like a master's class that we offer. Master's class. That's
Do I need a master's class to work on my bike?
No.
Okay.
No. It just helps. It's like everything from snout to tail on a bike, just kind of knowing everything that you'd ever want to know.
Here's how to mold your own tires. Okay.
But like you just get to listen to Erica and I ramble for 8 hours, which is great.
Dude, that's epic, man.
It's
For $100. So, mint.
very hands-on. We limit it to 6 people because we have 6 stands in the back. So if you go through our master's mechanics class, it's hands-on learning. You're going to be doing the thing.
Mm-hmm. Master's mechanics class. That's crazy.
Yeah, we occasionally have more bespoke classes too, and this is one of the things we've been most looking forward to getting past the pandemic is we can start doing this. We focus a lot on education. For example, you come in to get a flat changed. If you want me to narrate what I'm doing while I change your flat, I am happy to do that. If you want to watch a mechanic do something to your bike, we are happy to have you do that. In a perfect world, bike shops don't have to exist because we can all fix our own stuff. Not very practical, but we definitely want to help people be able to, self-actualize.
Yeah, cool. How many bikes do you guys do, per year with the the Earn a Bike program? Any idea?
It averages about 150 to 180 a year.
Wow, so that's a lot of bikes that you guys are essentially giving away.
Actually are giving away with a lock and lights and a helmet if they'll take it.
That's crazy. Mm-hmm. That's a lot of bikes, man. So do you guys have enough donations and bikes that are coming in? Do y'all go buy bikes? Do y'all go to like bike swaps and load up on bikes that people don't want or something? I mean,
nothing ever like that. No, typically we do get enough donations. And we'll make something happen. Worst comes to worst. Like absolutely, everybody gets a bike who does earn a bike.
But y'all aren't doing like thrift store hopping and just like trying to look for bikes that you could bring back to the shop and fix up.
I'm not against time to time. I'm not against the idea. I just don't have the time or the energy to do it.
Dude, that's crazy. Dude, that's awesome. That's a lot more than I thought. I thought it'd be like 20 or 30 per year or something like that. Is there a huge demand? I mean, do y'all have like anybody that wants to get a bike that maybe can't get one, or is there any kind of waiting list or anything like that?
With the pandemic, it's been a little weird. We did fewer last year than we normally would, and we're picking up. We're on track for a pretty normal year this year. With the heat, it's all weird. But, I mean, for example, we gave 2 bikes away today. And sometimes we get double scheduled.
Dude, that's got to be a cool feeling, giving somebody a bike, and they're like, this is my bike. It's awesome.
Oh, absolutely.
That's cool. So I know when the pandemic hit, we interviewed Peter Carbonin of Faith Skate Supply, and he said he saw record sales. Obviously you can't do group activities, but it lends itself really well to like individual activities, biking, skateboarding.
Everybody's trying to get outside.
Yeah, kayaking, man. We couldn't find kayaks, dude.
yes.
Oh my gosh, the hunt for kayaks was crazy.
Outdoor recreation as a sector was just
Exploded.
but not a fun sector to work in.
I can imagine. But with that happening, I would imagine it would have been hard for you guys to locate bikes, or maybe donations would have. I mean, how did the donations? Did that affect you guys at all?
It was insane.
In a good way or a bad way?
A little of both. Like,
Maybe you're selling more bikes, I guess.
we sold a lot of bikes. We
Well,
sold
we-
like a ton.
Like the rest of the shops, we turned away more business than we even get offered. I mean, it's you can't keep up with it, particularly with the new bike sales, which isn't like a huge focus for us, but it's an important aspect of our fundraising.
So how does that work? Do you guys partner with certain companies that maybe give you guys better pricing on the bikes that you sell?
Well, we exist as a retail establishment, so we're a dealer for a number of brands. Shameless shout out to Kona and Marin.
Yeah, see that Kona shirt you're wearing right now? That's
Yeah.
cool.
It's pretty rad.
Yes, super rad. And we, sorry, where was I? Oh yeah, we sell new bikes like a normal bike shop. We don't sell any of the major brands because I won't go into all the business dealings, but the bigger brands, it doesn't make as much sense for us for the size and volume that we do and the clientele that we sell to. But we are trying to grow the shop into something a little bigger, a little more real bike shop, while keeping the flavor.
That's cool. So you said during the height of the boom or whatever, did y'all have problems keeping up? You said it was insane. I was curious
Yeah,
what that meant.
I think I had, some statistics from last year, but there was a point that I was like me myself, because like Erica is typically doing a lot of our like floor bikes, and then Dee of course is running the front, and then I was just doing all the repairs, and I think for
Just you.
just me,
Dude,
for
how much do you love this? Because that's all you're going to be doing.
man, yeah. For like 4 months straight, I think I was doing like 15 to 20 bikes a day across the stand, and I was getting there at like 8 o'clock in the morning and leaving at 8 at night.
Dude,
For 4 months, if not longer.
We were all working long hours.
that's crazy, man.
And I mean, I wish I had pictures available. You should have seen the shop because it's pretty crowded right now. Partly because I'm a hoarder, and partly because of experiences from last year, which I'm sure we'll talk about in a bit. But we had something like 180 bikes in the shop.
Sure, we didn't have 200.
No, we did. We broke 200, and the capacity for our shop, like
I'm about to say, what's the square foot? I've been in there once, and you looked like you had a bunch of bikes in there, man, like just kind of crammed all over the place.
yeah, that's nowhere near as bad.
But
as
how big is the shop?
oh,
Any
man.
idea what the square
Yeah, I
footage
don't
is?
have a square footage
Yeah, I
number.
should know that off the top of
Not
my
big
head.
enough. Not
big enough, okay.
Yeah. I think we have like 150 hooks, maybe.
No, we don't have 150 hooks. We
Like
have,
even with the box, though.
I don't count the box. In the shop, we have like 76 hooks, I think.
Okay.
So you say hooks. I mean, it's literally just a hook on the wall to hang a bike, get it off of the floor.
You gotta put them anywhere you can get them, buddy. Hang
Yeah,
it
we-
from the
Just a
ceiling,
pile of
the
bikes. You
wall.
just
Oh no, we
climb
were
up.
stacking them for sure.
Yeah, we built basically.
Which
a
one is
labyrinth.
yours? The one on the bottom.
Hey,
Can you come back after lunch?
Come back tomorrow.
to our credit,
Shoveling bikes out of the way.
you could walk in even at the worst of this and come to me or Taylor and be like, "I'm here to pick up X bike," and we know exactly where it is.
True
We can just,
professionals right there.
Dive in like Scrooge McDuck.
Yeah. Wow, that's a lot of bikes.
Yes.
So what's the inventory right now to new bikes versus old bikes? Do you generally sell more used refurbished bikes, I guess? Is that the right way to say?
Yes. I mean, we'd be selling as many new bikes as we I'm sorry. We'd be selling as many new bikes as we possibly could if we could actually get them. It's still an issue
Really?
I mean, there are bikes that I ordered in October of last year that I still don't have.
Wow.
Dang, man, that would suck.
It's terrible. About the only bike brand that's really crushing it is Trek. Because at the beginning of the pandemic, a lot of companies faltered. They got scared. And so they canceled production orders before we realized as an industry that cycling was going to explode.
Skyrocket, yeah.
Yes. And, the previously mentioned company basically bought up everyone's production. So
Smart.
from my understanding.
So they're killing it right now. They're like on top of the world.
They were so even now, if you wanted an ETA on a bike, its availability. Trek was the only company that knew and could be accurate. They'd be like, yes, we'll have more of those in 4 months, and it's reasonably accurate. You go to Giant or Specialized or any of those, and they're like, I don't know.
Any
Sometime.
time between now and 10 months.
Yeah, you try us back in 2022.
That seemed like that's only going to further fuel Trek sales if they can give you a more accurate estimate. You know, have people coming in like, I want a new bike, ready, you know, take the next step. Like myself, for example, I'll probably be looking at getting a upgrading. And if I walk in and you're like, well, you can get this Trek and you could probably have it within a month or 2 months or whatever, or you can go with this other brand and you may not have it for another 6 months, then I'm probably going to lean towards like, well, sell me the Trek then.
I hope when you're ready, you have a dearth of options. Because I
Yeah.
wouldn't want you to feel locked into one brand for any reason.
Sure. Well, that's cool.
And then you just trade in your old one.
Well, I'm going to keep riding that thing until it just, you know.
Yeah, keep that one forever for sure.
Dude, it's awesome, man.
Oh, that would be a good wall hanger for down here.
Dude, I was like, is there any way I can get it hung on the wall for you guys? That would be so rad to have it in the background.
Oh, I almost brought
We
my-
got so
my
much
bike.
crap everywhere. I was like, without ripping a bunch of stuff down. We had a shelf fall on one of the guests that we had.
I saw that. That was
Did you see that?
was funny. Yeah, that was
Oh
funny.
man, I felt terrible. That was right after we took about a 4 or 5 month break, and then the first episode we kind of put some stuff back up, rearranged some things, and we have a shelf crash. So,
Yeah, well, welcome back, you know.
but if I can find a way to hang the bike, maybe in the future, where I could still get to it,
Hoist it.
hoist it up. Yeah, you wouldn't see it, but
That would be cool. Man, if we still had the hanging mics, we could have hung the mics from the bike.
ooh,
That would have been rad.
that would have been cool. But then I would never be able to get it down to ride it. So
Well, you said you're getting a new one.
yeah, well, that's in the future.
All right.
presents its own problems.
Oh, N+1. Always more bikes.
You guys do a lot of different events. I was kind of doing a deep dive on your Instagram. You guys have a weekly ride that's called the Trample. How did that get its name? Did you just go out and run down any pedestrians that get in your way? And
Oh man, no trampling.
the streets run red with the blood of
with the blood of pets.
with the, yeah. But what is the Trample? What is that?
I don't know where it originally got its name. Marcus or maybe even Erica could tell me, but it's just not something I
Death
remember.
by bicycle.
Death by bike. But I mean, it's so there's something very similar to it that typically happens in a lot of major metropolitan areas in the world. Well, in the United States anyway. It's called Critical Mass, and it's like a one day of the month that everybody in the whole city gets together and they all ride their bikes together.
They just take over the road, and everyone that's in a car gets super pissed.
Yeah,
It's like,
I mean, it's supposed to like raise awareness, but it typically just becomes like,
get out of the way.
yeah, I don't cause traffic, I am traffic.
Dude,
But those typically end up being like, oh man, somewhere between 500 and 1,000 people, like a lot of people.
Well, dude, I was stopped by. I assume it was you guys. There was a big mass of bikes. It was one afternoon. It may have been a Thursday afternoon, and I got stopped, and they kind of blocked the intersection and let everybody get through. And I was like amazed. It was like what seemed like hundreds. I mean, I don't know how many bikes it was, or if it was even y'all's ride, but
Right now, we're still, even when it's super hot or incipient rain, maybe, we're getting 100 people every Thursday.
this is
least.
every week.
Every week.
Wow,
Rain or shine.
rain or shine. So you're out there in the rain,
It's
pouring down. You don't care. It's rained every afternoon, man. I know you guys have been getting wet.
We've done one, not very many people. We've done one with a tornado on the ground.
Are you serious?
Oh my god.
You never call it? It's like, hey, lightning storm, hail.
We
you know.
technically canceled it for the pandemic, but there were still secret tramples.
Now, do you guys take the same route, or y'all just ride all over the place, or I mean, where do you guys go?
Yeah, we ride all over. I mean, Birmingham's got 99 neighborhoods, and we've been trying to hit all of them. We've been running the trample for about eight years uninterrupted, like every single Thursday for 8 years.
Man.
No fail. I mean, even through the pandemic, whatever.
That's crazy.
But we're just trying to go to all of them, and of course, Birmingham has so many green spaces too that like there's always a different park to go to, or always a different point of interest to go to, and that's typically where the ride goes to. So everything from abandoned warehouses to a park that's over on the west end or on the east end. We went to the Cascade Plunge once before they tore it down.
Yeah.
Yeah, just all over wherever cool spot
Cool,
we can
just
find.
explore the city and stuff. That's
Oh, yeah.
rad, man.
It's a different way to see your surroundings other than being stuck in a cage like in a
Yeah.
car and just
Yeah.
rolling around.
Yeah, you'd be more, pay more attention to. It's like, man, I never even noticed this. I drive by it every day, but you just don't pay attention if you're not riding on a bike. That's cool. You guys do, what other events do you guys do besides the trample? Seems like you guys are putting on different fundraisers and stuff throughout the.
Yeah,
throughout the year.
the biggest one is our tall bike joust.
Tall bike joust.
Tall bike.
Is that what it
That
sounds like?
sounds like.
Speaking of blood on the pavement.
It's exactly
Oh
what it
my
sounds
god!
like.
Can anybody sign up for this?
Anyone.
Yeah, you just
Dude,
gotta be able to
some
prove
tall bike jousting.
You gotta
Yes.
prove that you can ride the tall bike.
Where do you get a tall bike to joust with?
Yeah, well, we have them, but you make them.
Is there videos of this on your Instagram? Is there a way to pull
I
this
think
up?
there's a documentary.
Yeah, someone made I'd say
Just-
mockumentary, but
Just YouTube like tall bike jousting in any capacity.
Oh, I gotta see this.
yeah, redemptive tall bike joust.
Oh, it's great.
All right. Well, while she looks that up,
Do you suit up and everything? Are you full armor?
People typically
should.
take on. Yeah, I mean, like yes, you should put on, but most of the time it's like folks will pick like
Like
a
medieval
caricature.
armor.
Yeah, they'll do something. Somebody dresses up as
Yeah, we-
Spider-Man. We've had a knight. We've had all sorts of
Yeah,
things.
Where do you get medieval armor?
the knight was my favorite. So think of like the cheapest Halloween costume you could possibly imagine, just like a knight's armor printed onto pajamas, right?
Oh, okay.
With
All
like
right,
a
a little
helmet.
more practical, sure.
Oh, but under that, he was wearing full enduro mountain bike, like downhill armor, like the spine cover, all the pads.
sure. Yeah, you keep from getting hurt, I guess.
Oh well, there's the entire tall bike joust.
Where? Yeah. Go
Oh,
just,
yeah.
The location announcement one's pretty good. That one's 2.5 whole hours.
Yeah.
Uh,
Click the one up top. Click that one. Yeah. This is probably just a super cut.
Where is this?
Is this upcoming?
Rickwood Field.
That was 2 years ago.
This
that
is
was
2 years ago. Oh, look at this.
It is
dude.
exactly what I thought it'd be. It
Hold
is
on,
tall
what-
bike jousting.
These guys are up on bikes, hitting each other with spears.
I wish they'd all wear helmets.
Dude, that's
Can't make them though.
that boom. Do y'all provide the what do you call that?
The Lance.
The lance?
Yeah.
Is that the long pole thing?
Yeah. It's just a PVC pole with mattress pad on the end
come
of it,
on,
and then
man.
pantyhose.
Yeah,
That's
covered
it.
pantyhose.
They look like sock 'em
I want some
Yes.
lead pipe with a yeah, okay.
No,
That's probably not a good idea.
I couldn't even hold it. It'd be awful.
Oh yeah.
It is hard to overstate. I mean, riding the tall bike, getting onto it's the hardest part. They handle exactly like a normal bike, with the exception of you can't put your foot down. So if you ride it in traffic, sometimes you got to put your foot on like cars if people are being jerks.
How tall is it?
What? Where does one get a tall bike?
You got to make them.
You have to
you
make
have
them.
to make them. Yeah.
But is there any kind of like regulation as to how big or what they look like or
No.
I'm so foreign to this. I want to get we're going to do tall bike jousting this year.
I would say they have to be at least 2 frames tall. They don't necessarily have to be made of 2 frames, but they have to be at least 2 frames tall.
Is there like a YouTube video where I can learn how to weld this together?
Yes.
All over.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Y'all sell these? Do y'all make them?
We don't. Well, I mean, I guess we could sell one if we really, really wanted to, but
I mean,
Do y'all
for-
both have one at your
I
house?
wish. I wish.
I commuted on
This year.
one. The last 2 years, I've spent a week commuting on one. Which is, I live up the mountain, which is awful because they're single speed and coaster brake. Don't do this. It's
Dude.
awful. That's where the foot on car.
So it's like a
things come
fixed
from.
gear bike.
No, this is a single speed, but there is somewhere out there a fixed gear tall bike, and that is truly a terrifying
Yeah.
thing.
No brakes, nothing. Just awful, terrifying LCL or ACL destroying monster
Dude. Well, that's epic, man. Do y'all do this every year?
every year.
And it's going to be located at Rickwood Field. Is that the typical location or
We've alternated locations. Rickwood was
I
one
got to
year.
come out and see this.
We need tickets.
Dude, I want to come watch
we'll,
it.
we'll sing from it. We'll sing about it. From the rooftops when it's
Dude,
time.
I've
It's
never heard of
very
that.
soon.
That's crazy.
Have they announced the
They
location?
haven't announced anything yet. No.
Oh,
What
man.
time of year is it? normally
October.
held?
It's going to be in October. Yeah.
It sounds like a Halloween type.
Heavy Ultra, we're coming.
Dude, we're gonna
We're
build a
coming.
team. We're coming.
No,
I
absolutely.
don't know if we'll compete, but we'll come watch.
No, stay in touch on it. If you if you cover it live, it'd be awesome.
We're going to.
Yeah, it'll be in October. We'll have an announcement of where it is this year soon. I'm pretty excited. I think y'all will be too once you find out where it is. So
I had no idea this even existed. I had
That's crazy.
no clue this was a thing.
How many people compete?
Bracket of 12.
Yeah.
Sometimes we've had like 16, I think.
Is there prize?
the
bragging
glory-
rights, I
the
guess?
glory, obviously. And then Marcus typically makes like a giant metal trophy out of like bike parts and stuff. It's really
Marcus-
cool.
okay.
someone,
Or,
I think we had a gentleman named Ross from a local business. Actually, he's a metal fabricator. He's called Single Speed Fabrications, I think. Look him up. It's awesome. Very good at what he does.
Single-speed fabrications.
If you watch one of the YouTube videos, you'll see a shot of the trophy he made last year, which was a true work of art. And he made it overnight.
So where was last year's? You said this one was 2 years ago.
Last year's we did in the alley behind the shop at the Give Me Color wall.
Yeah, okay. I've seen that. I guess on your Instagram, you guys
Yeah.
had some wall that said Redemptive across it or whatever.
We had to do like a really intimate, kind of very limited
Sure, with the
seating sort of-
pandemic and
yeah.
all that stuff.
And so we live streamed it, which we will probably bring back for this year. But of course, we'll be doing traditional ticket sales and yada yada, all that stuff.
Dude, let us commentate. That would be so awesome.
So we do have one of the meanest MCs in the world who does it, Max Rykov.
Okay.
And he is just an absolute hoot. I don't know how he keeps his voice through the entire thing. Like, he doesn't even need the microphone.
Barely keeps his voice the whole time.
So he's just kind of entertaining the crowd during
He's
the
a
matches
wild
and
man.
stuff.
Yeah, he's think of your classic circus, and there's the dude with the
That sounds like a modern day circus. Yeah.
oh,
That's
it
wild.
is. It's great. They of course alternate knocking each other off the bikes, and then we have tiebreaker rounds where we get kegs out, and they have to take the lances and do basically American Gladiators, and it's great
Oh
fun.
my god.
It's so much fun.
We're gonna be there.
Dude, that's
we
epic.
have to be there.
Any other type events? That takes the cake, man.
That really
I don't know
does.
what else would top that, but
Well, that's the big one. So that is the top. We do a series of Alley Cat races, which are super fun. We just did one called the Crit Cat in honor of Hammerfest coming up this weekend, Saturday and Sunday, which is super fun. And I think that's free entry. Go watch them race, et cetera, et cetera.
You get to see a bunch of pro teams come from all over the U.S. and race.
this is the Alley Cat race that you're talking about.
Well, we are sorry to be clear.
Hammerfest is the big race.
Yeah.
Okay.
And we did a crit themed Alley Cat
Okay.
this past weekend. The way an Alley Cat race works is it's a checkpoint race with no set route. So what you do is you register. Yeah, that's part of it. You register and then you get your manifest, and you have to plot your own route.
That is so cool.
It's super fun. Not so much about how hot it is, but like, man, it's so fun.
So
I'm
you
living the
plot
form.
your own route. How does that work?
It's
You
what it says on
find
the
the
tin,
quickest
man.
way from point A to point B.
But you have to hit certain spots.
Yeah, and
pick
complete
up a coin or something. to
Yeah,
show that
complete
you were
certain
there.
actions.
Okay.
The crit one, you had to go to certain places and then do X number of laps around a feature there. And we had people at each of the checkpoints to make sure that people actually did the thing. We've done 5-card stud where you have to get...
It's just a poker hand.
yeah.
It's like a poker run
Yeah.
kind of
Okay.
thing.
Yeah.
So you grab a card, and I think whoever's hand at the end...
Yeah, they do
Well,
something
so
like
there's
that
a-
in Coleman, like on the boats and stuff. They
Yeah,
do, like,
yeah.
a
I mean,
big
and they do it
poker
with
run.
motorcycles and stuff too,
Okay,
all
I
the
guess it's
time.
everywhere, yeah.
But yeah, like best hand, who gets back first, dead fucking last.
Yeah.
Like,
The
Okay.
last one I did was a carry shit Olympics, which is just how much stuff you can carry. This was a really cool one because we got a lot of...
Carry shit Olympics. What?
Hey, this is... you got messengers and such out there. I ride on a loaded bike every day just because I live on my bike. So I got bags on bags on bags.
That's such an elegant name too. What are we gonna call this? The Carry Shit Olympics.
It's evocative.
So is that you have to get from like point A to point B
With the most stuff.
You have to
Carry your couch.
Well, we got a ton
All
of
your furniture.
we got a ton of food donated.
Okay.
So what we did is we stocked each of the checkpoints with
Oh, so you provide the stuff that carry.
yes, and,
Okay,
and this
okay.
one the shop did organize getting a bunch of food donations that everything, regardless of what happened to it, all got donated to a food pantry afterwards. I think this was in partnership with Grace Klein.
I think so,
believe.
yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
And it was super fun. So like bags of rice, a little bit of bread, a lot of canned food, all sorts
Heavy
of
stuff.
heavy
Oh,
stuff.
man. Yeah.
I was
Y'all just found a
carrying-
clever way for people to go grocery shopping for you. Let's make a contest out of it.
Man, I could have carried more too. I'm still mad about that. I ended up.
I didn't
you
want you
win?
to hurt yourself.
Well, I won the carried the most. I carried twice as much as the next person. I had like 48 pounds of stuff on me, I think, in addition to me and my bike and everything.
How
Next,
do you pedal?
Now, are you allowed to hang stuff on your bike, or has it got to be on your person?
if it's on the bike, it's fair game if you can carry it.
Okay.
Anything that messes with your steering, like you see people are like, oh, I'm going to hang this 6-pack
Oh,
of beer
yeah.
on one side. And it's just like, oh, yeah, good luck, have fun.
Yeah, going in circles.
Yeah, basically. But it's super fun. The Alley Cat series is great. So we just did one, and we'll be doing another one in September, but the theme and such hasn't been announced. But it's something to keep track of our social media about.
Yeah, cool. Well, you said Hammerfest is this weekend?
Yes.
So explain more about that for someone who doesn't know anything about
Yeah.
bike racing.
So a criterium road race is just like it's like NASCAR almost. They just go around a circuit over and over and over again, and there's typically a time limit. And then when they get within X number of minutes to the last, they start counting laps. So you just race, and it's usually really, really fast. Like all the folks that race this are just built sprinters. And so you see dudes doing like 30 miles an hour around this track for an hour. Just
Zooming.
nuts.
Zooming.
So what's the idea? Just to get the most laps in the set
No, I
time
mean,
limit?
still, well, it's
Or is there like you got to be the first one to go 50 laps or something?
no, I mean, it's almost the first one to do 50 laps, but it's almost like a game of attrition. Like they'll race for 45 minutes, and then in the last 5 minutes, they're like, okay, 5 laps to go, that's it. And so you make all your moves, you play it safe for
Play it
40
safe.
minutes.
Yeah.
About
And then
staying
you're
in the
like-
group, and then who has enough left in the tank to actually stomp in the last bit of the race.
Well, what keeps you from just doing like one lap for 40 minutes, just like barely?
Because you can't get lapped either.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay,
Yeah.
okay. So you got to at least keep up with the fastest guy.
So it's a lot of mind games. It's actually really
yeah,
interesting
dude,
to
that's
watch.
crazy.
Sounds nuts.
Where do they race?
It's going to be at Pepper Place this
Pepper
year.
Place.
Do
It was
they build a track, or are they just out there in the parking
They're
lot?
using the road.
Yeah.
So they're going to like block off the main drag there behind Pepper Place. I guess in between first, I guess it's second there. And then one street up.
So it's just a big block, one city
Yeah,
block.
yeah.
There's
Oh, yeah.
racing around the whole thing. Okay,
They
I'm
did it
picturing
in-
like the short track that you see in the Olympics, like the wooden
No.
thing.
Oh yeah, not actually like track cycling with fixed gears and all that. No, a little bit bigger, and it's always like really grassroots because sometimes it is in parking lots and stuff. You see this all over the U.S.
Okay,
The term for the track is a velodrome for the audience.
a velodrome.
Velodrome.
But it's basically one city block that you're just racing around the streets.
Essentially, yeah. They did it in Lakeview last time, which I guess was I lost all sense of time because of the pandemic a couple years ago.
Now, pre-pandemic, do they come and is this happen in Birmingham every year?
This is the second one.
Second
So
one.
like they had a pretty good
Yeah, it was a real
turnout
big deal
for the first one,
on the
and then pandemic, and then
now. Is
try it
this
again.
are they directly? Who's the organization that puts this on? Is this you guys, or is this
No,
like
no.
a national outfit that?
it was a company called Bruno the first time, and now I think it's like Bolt 24 or something that's putting it on. Another
So they
one.
put it on, and then all the local shops show up, and it's just kind of
yeah,
for
I mean, just to
everybody.
celebrate bike racing
Bike
because it
racing,
is.
okay.
It's
We'll all have
cool.
a presence there, and there'll be like vendors associated with large manufacturers of stuff. I think it's being put on by USA Crits and the Lakeshore Foundation and one other organization that I know is on the poster, whose name I can't remember. I'm so sorry. But all local organizations.
Okay, sweet. It's just like a big biker
USA Crits is
turnout.
the
Yeah.
national one, but in partnership with local organizations.
Cool. Anybody here? I guess you said it's like all pros that are coming to race
Oh,
and stuff. Nobody local racing in the.
They do have, there's local racing. They have like a category system and everything too. So yeah, Joe Schmo can sign up and do it. He races a
signing
Category 5. I mean,
just kidding.
he
you
races a
could.
Category 5, and
Okay.
it's
I guess you got to
terrifying.
qualify and stuff. So yeah.
No, nothing even like that. Just show up with your bike in a kit and just say that you
Get
want to do the
smoked.
damn.
Okay.
Yeah, worst case,
Yeah, or get laid out in a corner and feel bad.
or you can get bonked and quit. I mean, there's nothing to stop you from doing this. Particularly, I'd say a Cat 5. Well, I think they're doing a Cat 3 to 5 combined,
Something like that.
something
But-
like that.
So they kind of like lump everybody together. It's like everyone who's like raced bikes maybe a little bit, and then folks that have no idea what the hell's going on, and then just barrel yourselves into a
Yeah,
corner,
that is-
shoulder to shoulder, 100 dudes deep.
Sweet.
It's not funny because people getting injured isn't actually funny. But one of the fun parts of watching a crit is watching the crashes. It's like NASCAR, and it's they happen. They happen.
I was about to say they probably happen a lot. I would imagine.
Oh yeah, the road rash is real.
Dude, yeah, man, that's like one of my biggest fears. I don't ride on the street very much, but
Oh, you should. It's
the
terrifying.
times I know, dude. Like, now, where do you guys ride? Are y'all more like road cyclists, or do you guys get off road and do like actual mountain biking?
This is
or
this is
what do
going
you
to
guys
get philosophical.
All the things. Yeah,
all the things.
All the things.
Okay, do you have a preference as to what you like doing better?
I am a dedicated commuter. I
Okay.
like all styles of bikes. I have a mountain bike and a road bike, but the bike that you would see me most often on is an old 90s steel bike with some more modern stuff on it that I got my bags and my thing, and I just live on it.
Not the tall bike?
Only a couple times a year.
Okay.
No,
You going to be in the joust?
I will be there in a supporting capacity.
Okay.
I run the tech and the sound stuff there.
Rad.
I was actually going to say earlier in the conversation when we were talking more about the tall bike, just as a small tangent, riding the tall bike is not that hard. Once you learn how to get onto it, and you can even cheat, just climb on something, get on it. It rides exactly like a normal bike, with the exception of it's really easy to wheelie.
Just climb up
really?
on the top of that Mercedes and take off.
Oh,
No
basically.
big deal.
Yo,
Yeah, just
That
one
Range
good- one-
Rover over there with the ladder, just climb up on his roof, jump on your bike.
That's an idea. With the Lance is a completely different ball game. It is incredibly hard to ride one with a Lance.
Could you like prop it up on the handlebar, or you have to
It
like
would
hold
no,
it out?
no. Physics would just be like no.
Okay.
Because if you put anything on your handlebar that goes this way, making a motion for
Yeah.
people listening. That effectively lengthens the bar. It goes outside either edge. It's making your handlebars that wide,
Right,
which
right.
affects your steering.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, even if you go across it like long ways to it, it is still just kind of sketchy. It doesn't work out so well.
Seems like you got to have momentum. So maybe get on the bike and make a lap, and then come back by and grab it.
We have like pushers. So like,
The whole idea is you treat it like a real lance. So like all of these are the same issues that people that jousted in ye old times, I'm sure, ran into, where the lance is very long and it's very heavy. So you actually hold it up like this, which is not that bad. But as soon as you have it down, and you're
Hold on.
incentivized to have it as far out as you can, which just makes it harder, right?
Right.
They're like, you want me to do what on this horse? You want me to hold it out like this? Like, no way.
And you got to hold it up because you're not trying to
Give
hit
me
the
a
bike.
club.
You lose
Right.
points for
Swing that
hitting the
thing.
bike. You're trying to
Boy,
hit the
howdy.
rider.
Can't kill the horse. Okay.
Yeah, don't kill the horse.
All right. Well, back to riding.
I'm
it
so
sounds
sorry.
like you're more like a street guy. If that's the right terminology, I don't know the lingo.
I
but,
mean, if we're getting into like bicycle culture, the bike I ride every day is what you'd call an X bike.
X-bike.
X bike, which just means big tires, rugged racks, bags. It's just a bike that can go anywhere and do anything. It's a jack of all trades. Not particularly fast, but not particularly slow. Confidence inspiring off road, but also reasonably stable on road.
But you're on this thing every day.
Literally every day.
Wow. That's a good, healthy lifestyle, man.
It helps with the beer.
good and good for you.
Taylor, what about you, man? What are you doing?
I don't really like going up hills, even though I'm good at it. But like, I like to mountain bike a lot.
Sweet. That's what I'm talking about. To me, and just being foreign to the world of cycling, I was like, I spent enough time on the road in my car. And I don't know, I watched all these YouTube videos and stuff, and I was like immediately drawn to like the off-road aspect. And I've done a lot of riding at like Oak Mountain, but I hear that like Cahaba River Park is really awesome.
love
I've not
Cahaba
been
River
there.
Park. It's worth the drive. Go.
A lot of off-road trails and stuff, or like
It's just
what makes it so good?
one of the I like it. I haven't been in a second because it's super busy. I liked it because it wasn't super crowded because it's a little out there and it's not quite as popular as places like Coldwater, which is out towards Anniston. Which Coldwater's good too.
That's big mountain though, right?
I like flowy, less technical stuff. I'm willing to do anything on the mountain bike, but I just want to do the little flowy, curvy bits, and then you go up and over a thing.
Yeah.
And it's fun. You're not trying to hop your bike over a 3-foot obstacle.
Sure, yeah. More technical, hardcore riding, I guess.
Yeah, like I'm too old for that. I'll die.
Not
I'll
doing
just-
trials out there, hopping from boulder.
Yeah,
to boulder.
trials.
No, you our apprentice, or actually your apprentice mechanic Nathan is and it's
Nate can do the thing.
Yeah, he can do the trials.
That
tricks.
stuff's crazy.
That is crazy.
Yeah, and there's something on our Instagram when we first announced Kona, and you see him do the.
I think I saw that. Yeah, he's like doing the hops and the
Yeah.
wheelies and stuff.
That's
Yeah.
Nathan. He's a monster.
That's awesome.
I know you love mountain biking. I always associate you with fixed gear riding in my brain.
Do yeah, I ride fixed gears.
Okay, explain to me the fixed gear culture. What is it? These bikes seem in my little brain very archaic and very inefficient.
That's why
And
you'll
yet there's a
never
whole
get it,
culture
Alex.
around these fixed gear bikes. What is the deal?
I mean, so like fixed gears. I mean, dawn of time, like all bikes were fixed gears to begin with. Like we hadn't figured out a way to be able to backpedal yet.
Sure.
And freewheel. Okay.
Fair.
Cool. So we're
All
just
right.
like, if the pedals are turning, rear wheel's turning, everything's connected. Okay, cool. And then when they invented freewheeling, it's like, okay, well, fixed gear stuck around a little bit. They had the track cycling that was going on, so it was always kind of stuck around. And then folks were riding fixed gears as long as time can be. And then we get into like the 2000s. There's like this big fixie boom, and then also Premium Rush comes out, right?
Premium Rush. That's a movie? Or what is
Yeah,
that?
it was a movie. I'm trying to think. It wasn't Matt Damon. God. damn it, who
Why do
was
you
it?
always think it's
I
Matt
always
Damon?
think it's Matt Damon. Gordon.
Yeah,
Is
Joseph
that the one where
Gordon-Levitt.
he's like
Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
he's in New York and he's like a
He's a courier.
And he goes into
Courier,
the
yeah.
bullet time thing where he's like, ooh, and you see all the arrows, and then he knows he's going to crash, which is a weirdly
I haven't
accurate.
seen the movie, but I know what you're talking about. I need to check that out. Is it
It's-
good?
It's
all right.
enjoyable.
He learned how to do all of the
he-
stunts.
he did the
like there
writing.
was no stunt man.
Really?
He
Yeah.
learned how to ride a
That's
fixed
fair.
gear and do the dam.
Wow.
But so that
Premium
happens.
rush. Okay, but I guess he's riding a fixed gear bike.
Yeah, the whole time and being a messenger. So, okay, like messenger culture explodes and everybody's got to have a fixed
Gotta be a courier.
Yeah, I got to be a courier.
I gotta ride fixed gear, man.
So like state bicycle company comes around, Pure Fix and a bunch of other brands pop up, and you see all these fixed gears that are like $300, and they're this neon color with different deep dish neon colored wheels, and they look just so kitschy and cool, and everybody had one.
Yeah. It's a fun bike to like set in the corner of your apartment and look like a bike, you know.
Yeah, it looks cool. The wheels are about the same size. It's very symmetrical looking bike.
Yeah, it just looks like bike.
Yeah.
But they were heavy and they were dog shit. So
Hey, states are good.
I mean,
States' core line is-
state's gotten better, but originally it was just like this giant boom, and everybody's just like, I'm gonna make money. But
you're always turning the pedals to be able to forward momentum. There is no like coasting or any of that stuff.
well, and a lot of those too, that like they had flip flop wheels, so there's like a free wheel on one side, so you can coast, and then the other side's a fixed gear, so you can also like
Kind of
look like you look like you're riding a fixed gear, but no, it's just a single speed.
I don't know what the laws are from jurisdiction to jurisdiction, but I have it stuck in my head that I don't think you're allowed to sell a bike, like a mass production bike, without brakes. So most of these will come set up single speed with the flip-flop hub and both brakes.
And then people just mod them out.
Yeah, if you want to do the fixed gear thing and do it authentically, you've got to flip the rear wheel and strip off all the brake stuff.
I guess you're using your pedal
Hey,
as your brake.
yeah.
I mean,
They just slow you down, man.
yeah. So again, what is the appeal?
Sorry,
Why was you
okay.
drawn to this?
Yeah, so I don't know.
This
It's-
just seems like no brakes, one
Yeah,
gear.
yeah, it's,
this is hard. I
I
don't
think that
like
was actually
this.
a quote from the movie from Premium Rush. I'm pretty sure. But anyway, I mean, it's like the purest form of riding a bike.
Pure. Okay.
Yeah, that it is
You're
just
a purist. All right.
yeah. It's just you and your legs and the bike, and it's like if you see a hill, you pedal harder. If you want to go faster down the hill, you pedal faster.
I
that
am
kind
one
of
with the
thing.
road.
I ride every day. I have my own misgivings with fixed gear, but if it's good enough for St. Sheldon, it's good enough for all of us.
Yeah, right. But yeah, I mean, fixed gears they're fun. I mean, like you have this like completely decluttered handlebar. I mean, because you don't have a brake
They're very
lever, nothing,
simple, yeah.
and then just
They have
tires.
the whole Apple look going for them of
Right.
the bicycle world. It's very simplistic.
You said the word efficiency, and it's an argument that even cyclists among ourselves have, because we argue about what's more efficient, a fixed gear or a freewheeling bicycle or a bike with free wheels and gears. And it depends on what you care about and what you mean when you say efficiency. Efficiency of the system. A fixed gear has a perfectly straight chain line, no flex from any components or anything like that. Hopefully, if your chainring's flexing, you're screwed. But it is a more efficient machine. But as a whole, free wheels,
Death on your
gears,
legs.
It can be if you're
Terribly
doing it wrong.
uncomfortable.
Oh, it's
No fun at all.
They make your
kidding,
legs-
I'm joking.
they'll make your legs huge.
Oh, I'm sure they will.
when they
You're always pedaling. No,
Yes,
you're never not
exactly.
always
pedaling.
pedaling.
Hey, when you're going up a hill,
Put that
it's-
on a T-shirt. Always pedaling.
Well, it's better when you're going up a hill on a fixed gear. I mean, I'll give you that. If you have the momentum and you're going up and you can keep it going, at no point will the bike even let you lose your momentum by allowing it to coast. You have to go with it.
Interesting. I didn't think about it like that. But I would think that going up, like, it's probably geared. If you had to, what kind of gear is a fixed gear set to?
You're always in the wrong gear.
You're always in the wrong.
You're
gear.
always in the wrong gear. It
You're
doesn't
never in the
matter.
gear you want to be in.
Never. Okay.
You just pick whatever ratio and you can be like, yeah, this is totally fine for downtown. But as soon as I start going up a hill, it sucks. Or do it the other way around. You can get up hills really easy, but you
can't go fast on flat
anywhere
land,
at all.
yeah.
Yeah.
So people pick different gear ratios. What's the most popular one?
Typically, you want to avoid like even number front chain rings.
See, I'm not too versed in like the different gear ratios.
Yeah,
but I would
yeah.
imagine-
You'll see like a lot of 47, 16 or like 49, 16, 17, 18. Kind of depends. But like,
Does that relate to skid patches?
yeah, has to do with, because part of the appeal with fixed gears too is like being able to feel like a kid again. That whole coaster brake, kick back, and you're like, yeah, I can slide the rear wheel. Feels cool. But with a fixed gear, you're stopping the rear wheel. You are resisting that entire motion as opposed to using a brake. But yeah, so skidding's fun. But dependent on how many teeth are up front and then how many teeth are in the back, it determines. So you can only typically skid when your feet are level, and then vice versa, right foot forward or left foot forward. So that only gives you so and so many rotations, possible combinations of where your tire could stop in between contact with the ground. So there's some ratios that like you can have a million different skid patches and you don't wear your tire out, or you can have one that has one skid patch. And you just blow a hole.
So it's always in the same
you just,
spot.
yeah, put,
Okay.
put a
You
flat
just-
spot in your tire, and that's
Just
game
like
over.
you
Yeah.
murder your tire.
Can you pedal backwards?
I can a little bit. Like there's people that can really like
Like
do
just
the thing.
ride
Yeah, like, yeah.
backwards?
Oh yeah. There was a guy on our trample once that popped his rear tire. We were over in Avondale, and so he's like, "Okay, well, I'm just gonna take a ride back to the shop." And I'm like, "Do you want someone to come ride with you?" And he's like, "No, I'm just gonna ride on my handlebars backwards." So he just sat on his handlebars all the way down first.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Oh,
I just
dude.
rode all the way back to the shop and was like, "It's fine. I didn't bring a tube. I didn't bring a wrench. And I don't need it. I'll just ride back to the shop."
Well, for a while there, I would see these like YouTube videos, and these guys had these fixed gear rallies almost, like where they're all in a parking lot riding around and doing different tricks and stuff. And it's like there's this whole subculture around the fixed gear bike and the pure feeling of
Oh yeah.
being on the bike and stuff. I was curious. Glad that came
Fixed
up.
are cool. Fixed
Yeah.
gears are cool. We need more of them in Birmingham. There was like a little explosion at a lot of folks that were riding fixed gears, but like you don't see a ton now.
Well, people woke up and said, "Hey, I hate riding around on this thing. I want some
gears."
gears." Yeah.
Yeah, it makes perfect sense.
That's cool. So when you're mountain biking, where do you go?
Oak Mountain, just because
Convenience, location.
Yeah,
I guess.
yeah. That and like Thunder and Lightning's really fun. Like, who doesn't want to do the box jump?
Dude, are you going off that big step up and stuff?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay. So
Yeah, you
you're like epic.
You got to
Clearing
hit
the-
you got to hit all the shark fins and everything. I mean, like it
Oh, dude.
feels good, but like going downhill is fun.
I'm not quite there yet. They the slingshot was really fun.
I haven't been out to that yet.
Dude, it's awesome. It's brand new.
I haven't seen
It's
that
maybe
yet
only
either.
been up in like a month, and they hired some like national outfit to come in and build it. I know. Do you guys work with any of the dudes from Bump or know any of those guys? Is that like a volunteer organization?
Yeah, I don't know anybody by name, but I mean, like they do their thing. They
And
make sure
Bump
the trails-
stands for the Birmingham Urban Mountain
peddlers.
Peddlers. Okay, and they maintain all
Mountain
the trails.
people,
Mountain
buggy,
people.
bumper, mountain.
The people.
The rubber baby buggy bumpers. And they maintain all the trails out at Oak Mountain. Do they do anything else in any of the other parks like Tanny Hill or
I
any of the other
think
places?
that they do. I don't know exactly.
Okay, but you guys
It's my
aren't
own
directly
fault.
involved with Bump. Okay,
Yeah.
that's cool.
Met a couple of the dudes, but they'd be able to answer questions like that better. You should
Yeah, I'll have to get them on. Yeah, reach out.
absolutely.
But yeah, the slingshot trail is awesome, man. It's definitely better to go the one direction versus the other. The first time that we
It's
did
usually
it,
true.
well, some of the trails it's kind of like it's pretty even as far as like the amount of uphill and downhill. So you can do it one way and the other way, and maybe one way is slightly more going downhill versus the other way. But anyways, when we did the slingshot, everyone we were passing was like, "Y'all are doing this backwards. Y'all should do it the other way." And we realized very quickly that it was all uphill.
I've definitely done some of the loops at Cahaba River Park backwards.
Okay.
Definitely done that.
But it's a lot of fun, man. We did see one dude wipe out, man, and I started testing my limits, but I haven't taken like a major spill, and so I'm afraid when I do, I'll be humbled, brought back down to earth.
I mean, it hurts. It hurts direct.
Have you guys had any major wipeouts yourselves? I mean, all the years you guys have spent on bikes.
I fought a city bus like 3 years ago.
You
4
went on
years
that
ago.
one.
Yeah, fought a city bus.
What does that mean?
I literally got plowed
Did you
by a
win?
max
What?
bus. Yeah. Oh
Dang.
yeah. Oh, it was amazing. Oh my
Yeah,
god.
he had right away.
Sounds amazing.
The bus pulled in front of him, and he couldn't.
You plowed into the side of a bus,
Yeah, I was.
but you didn't get ran
bus-
over by the bus.
No,
No.
thank Christ.
The
no.
bus
Oh, God.
violated your right of way.
That's true. No, I got but it was awful. I got like splat. I shattered the entire front windscreen, and then
yeah.
the side door and everything. Shattered my collarbone.
Oh,
snapped the fork
snap.
off of my bike. I didn't realize it. I mean,
How fast were you going?
speed limit 20.
Speed limit.
I mean, yeah.
That's a lot of damage, man.
I mean,
crazy.
You're coming down from Vulcan, basically.
Yeah.
Coming
Well,
in at 5
so it
points.
was
hot.
literally the intersection there, like Dave's, Chick-fil-A.
You're coming down that hill?
Yeah, well, like I used to live right up by the Vulcan, so I was like, I was going to work.
Tempted fate, my friend.
I mean, it's not that bad.
It sounds so horrible, especially with all the traffic, man.
It was like
Oh,
8
going
in the
down's fine.
morning. There wasn't a ton of people around. Everybody was already out of town. It was fine, right? And I'm like coming down the hill,
And then a building pulls out in front of you.
basically, yeah. I'm like right at the white line. I'm about to be at the white line, and this bus is in the turn lane there at Dave's, and I'm like, light's about to turn yellow, and I'm like, I'm doing 20 miles an hour. I'm
You
moving.
literally-
I am going through this intersection, and then you started moving
Dude.
and just splat.
Yeah.
Plowed right into the bus. What happened next? Did the driver get out? They call 911? What, did you just get up and walk it off?
Driver got out, started yelling at me. And
What?
It was like,
He's mad at you?
yeah, he was like, "What the fuck are you doing?" And I'm like,
It's always the cyclist's fault.
So you broke the window or the glass? You
yeah, I
said?
shattered
Oh,
the whole front windshield. It was like
front windshield?
Yeah, it was like, well, I hit
It's like,
the
there's like a
front corner.
like a 3/4 window situation, and he demolished it.
Did you get the?
Oh, dude, do you have pictures of that?
I was gonna say, did you get the bus footage?
I
Oh my
no,
gosh.
Yeah,
camera
we-
didn't work.
Yeah,
Oh,
camera.
Oh,
didn't-
that was a thing. Yeah,
Hey,
yeah,
I
yeah.
went back later and I got you some of that
Didn't
glass
work.
though.
Yeah, this camera's broken. We don't have any video
Yeah,
of
yeah,
that.
that
No
was-
lawsuits here.
Oh
No
man,
shit.
that was just a whole thing. It was a whole thing.
Dude.
Shout out to my lawyer. But yeah, that was terrible. It was awful. Like literally snapped the fork off of my bike. Like my arm was
The
jelly.
collarbone, I think, would probably be the worst, man.
I didn't realize it until like
Your arm's
15,
like
20
this.
minutes
Yeah.
later. No, I mean it really wasn't. I still have like it's solid all the way out here.
Zach.
No.
He
I-
loves it when we talk about this stuff.
I didn't get any surgery or anything like that, thankfully. Like all the bones kind of like stayed in this little
Fused
like,
together.
Yeah, like in this little like meat pocket and stayed in
nice.
place. They were just like, just don't move, and I'm like, okay, cool. But like fork got snapped off, wheels facing one way, handlebars are facing the other, and I'm like, this dude's yelling at me, and I'm like, I don't care about anything else. Is my bike okay?
Yeah, just drag it.
Is my bike okay? So I drag my bike over to the side of onto the sidewalk, and I put my legs around the front wheel, grab the handlebars, wrenched it around. I'm like, that's broken. Oh, that's really
Ooh,
broken.
that's when you, yeah.
I was like, oh, that's really, really, really
you feel that
broken.
grinding.
Yeah.
Adrenaline's a hell of a drug.
Yeah, and then I went for like a whole 360 swing my arm thing, and I'm like, oh, that's all snap, crackle, pop, and gross. I'm like, yeah, I need to go to the hospital. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Sorry, dude.
Dude, that's crazy.
It was
man.
rough for Oni. I do not want to do it again.
Man, but no other, you didn't smash your face or your head open or
Dude,
anything like that?
wearing a helmet, no concussion.
Okay.
Like,
Well, that's pretty lucky then.
Yeah,
I mean, you
all
could have
the
been
things.
killed.
could have been killed. Yeah, I could have ended up under the bus. Like, I've had friends that have gone through car windshields. So, like,
Damn.
See, that is why I am not interested in riding down the road. Our friend, Nathan, he rides all over the neighborhood and stuff, and he's told me about some close calls he's had.
Oh yeah, all the
And
time.
I'm like, dude, that's like, especially being in an urban environment where there's cars everywhere, you know. I was like, dude, get me out in the woods. I'm gonna ride,
yeah,
you know.
yeah.
I almost got hit at least 6 times in this past week. Didn't actually get touched. It's just something you come to accept. You understand that you are always invisible, always. Even if you're making eye contact with the person, they don't see you. You're always going to be wrong, which is to say they're going to be mad no matter what you do. And you should always just focus on what makes you feel safe. I've got like a whole safety spiel I give to anybody who's thinking about commuting in the city. It's not a whole thing I'll go into now, but anyone that's listening that wants to talk about commuting in an urban environment, particularly Birmingham, should come see me. I will talk their ear off.
Well, give me the cliff notes. In your opinion, do you think the city of Birmingham has done enough to accommodate for people like cyclists? Like, I see some roads, and I'm not looking all the time, but I do see some roads where it's like there's a clear bike lane. But then a lot of them, you know, the one that runs on Second right next to the battery, it just ends. And it just has a sign that says bike lane is ending, or it ends right here. And I'm like, what are you supposed to do? You just turn around and go back, or
It's
you just ride in the middle of the road? I mean, what do you do?
It's almost a religious question. There's no real right answer to this, and different people ride differently. And if you're riding in a group, it's very different than riding by yourself. I am a fan of bike lanes. I believe that they should be a thing. I don't personally use them as much as I could for a multitude of reasons. I find that many of the bike lanes in Birmingham right now don't have excellent sight lines. So as a cyclist in Birmingham, you have the right to take the lane. You are expected to follow all the rules that cars are, and you have every bit as much of a right to the whole lane as any car does. And that is where you're most visible. That's where people can see you, and that's also where you have the most reaction time in any given direction. It's sort of like if you're riding a motorcycle or you're learning to ride a motorcycle, there's the 3 zones. And the zones all have their pros and cons. But if you can, the center gives you the most options right and left.
That makes most sense. Yeah.
And they don't do a really good job street sweeping, so you're more likely to get flats in a lot of the bike lanes. I've picked up, I was on my nice vintage road racing bike, and I had a self-extracting screw that I picked up in the bike lane that gave me a new spoke hole in that wheel.
Oh, wow. All the way through the
Perfectly,
rim, huh?
well, into the rim, but not through the sidewalls, and perfectly between 2 spoke holes. I still have those wheels. But it was just ridiculously perfect. I was, of course, very angry. And you see a lot of glass, a lot of trash. And it's not so much like they don't do enough street sweeping of bike lanes. They don't do enough street sweeping in general. But that's a logistical issue with the city, which I can't fault them for. It's always funding and what they need to do. But cars naturally move things to the edges of lanes, away from where the tread goes. And that just ends up in bike lanes or far right, where a lot of people feel they need to stay as a cyclist. So that's just one critique of it. Once again, sightlines are better. You're less likely to get hooked if you're further center. Someone coming from your right into. I see cyclists right on the sidewalk too. That's another thing. Is
that a no-no? Is that a bad thing?
You're not
That's a
supposed
no-no.
to.
You're not supposed to.
Yeah.
I will say it's if I'm being honest with someone, I would say if you feel safer on the sidewalk in a certain part of town, say traffic is going too fast, there's too much debris. If you feel safer up on
Don't
there,
get killed just
get
to
killed.
avoid the
Just don't get run
sidewalk.
over.
Right.
exactly.
Fair.
Do what you feel is safe, though understand that it is actually in some cases much easier to get killed on the sidewalk.
Sure. More stuff in the way, more pedestrians, I guess. Or
Well, yeah.
run over somebody's dog or something. I don't know.
Well, it's not even that. When I tell people, it's like, if you're going to get on the sidewalk, don't go fast on a jogger and be polite, always. But you have to be mindful of alleys and doors. Doors, of course, self-explanatory. Alleys, you should
It's
be
like I'm
terrified.
stumbling out of the bar, slings the door open, boom, we got a situation like you.
Oh, yeah.
People coming out of the alleyways all over the city, they can't see anything until their car
Yeah.
Is
has-
in the sidewalk.
true.
is
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
the sidewalk.
Yeah.
So you always got to assume that there is danger around every door or every corner, doors and corners. That's how they get you, because it is. Shoulder checks constantly. Always be looking, head on a swivel. And there's stuff that we did a ghost bike for a gentleman that died near the post office downtown.
I saw there's like a little memorial there. There's a bike like chained to the pole, and I saw that, and there's a sign there that said, I forget what it says, but it was something along the lines of so and so was.
In memory of the gentleman that died there. That's a really frustrating one. We did that ghost bike, and we've done several around town.
So when you say ghost bike, that's what you
yeah.
mean.
Yeah.
Okay.
A ghost bike is generally a memorial to a cyclist killed, usually in a
heavy.
traffic accident. Yeah.
Dang. Hopefully, there's not a bunch of those around the city.
It's more than there should be.
More than well,
more
I
than
guess
there should be.
one is more than there should be.
And this is one. It's a cautionary tale. The gentleman is on a 2-lane road, right there. He's heading more or less south to north. So he's coming along the intersection where the big depot and the post office is. I'm sorry, I don't have street names. And a semi was going to make a right turn, and it made the right turn from the left lane. And so he's in the right lane where he feels he needs to be, and is going through. The semi can't see him, and it just crushes him, making that right from the left lane, which it has to make that corner.
Sure,
It
they have to
has
swing wide.
They
and
have
stuff.
to swing wide with very poor visibility. So there's definitely fault to be talked about, but it's just tragic because you understand,
that's
you
awful.
see what happened. It's just terrible. But it's things like this that you ride every day in a city, and you come to understand that you're always invisible, and I don't know. You can mitigate your risks through experience.
Now, do you guys offer any kind of like safety course or classes? Something I wanted to talk about,
Sure.
We had the zip bike program that was
Right.
real popular, and now it's been replaced by something else. There's another
there's
bike.
Gotcha.
Or maybe there's way more.
And Veo.
Gotcha
Yeah.
and Veorad, yeah.
What is your opinion about companies like that just come in and set up shop, and you have a bunch of like, I want to say maybe people coming from
No
out of
idea.
town that don't ride downtown very often, rent a bike. I mean, are we
mean,
seeing more
we're-
accidents? Or
I want to say rip zip because that was a homebrew operation, and I really, man, hindsight being 2020, that joke will never get old. Zip ended their 5-year pilot program. I'm putting up air quotes on that one, right before the pandemic, which is hilarious and tragic. But Zip was a docked bike share. I don't know if you've noticed, but there's scooters and bikes everywhere.
We
Yeah.
have them parked out front of our warehouse, which
Exactly.
is like nowhere anywhere near.
oh, I see
where-
those scooters parked everywhere.
where they
People just
should
leave
be.
them all over the place.
Yeah, I literally, so I was on the not Lake Shore, First Avenue trail heading towards Avondale, and I was on the section that's paved. So we're, past the rotary trail, but, before getting to back 40. And it's in just a dark enough section that there's a scooter tipped over on its side such that I just have to run over the steering pole. I just have to go over it. And if I didn't have anything loaded on my bike, I could hop it. I could not hop it. So I get my front wheel over it, and I just
Wipe out right there.
and I'm not going to stop. I don't care about the scooter, but they're all over the place.
Yeah.
And this is, to Zip's credit, they had the docking stations everywhere that kept it very clear where you get them, where you can go, which I love. The dockless bike share, and this is just my opinion, just because human nature being what it is, anything that gets more people riding, I love. But it doesn't really seem to be compatible with how considerate and polite most people are. That's a
Very eloquent way of saying.
Yes.
So yeah, I see a lot of these bikes, and I've always just we haven't actually rented them. We've gone to other like Nashville and stuff, and rented bikes and stuff, and it's fun. But Nashville's pretty crazy. We were riding around there on the little scooters and stuff.
I should go to New York and do the city bike thing. That's super
Dude, I don't
fun.
know about that.
That's like
I
that's
follow-
hard mode.
I follow a guy he was from Birmingham, somewhere around here, and he moved to New York, became a bike messenger, but he streams his stuff on Twitch.
Godspeed to him.
And so, like, every
Superman.
morning,
I guess see him get killed on Twitch one day.
yeah, well, every morning he's riding around New York, just like picking up people's Uber Eats orders. But man, that city, I would never do it.
If you watch those videos, and this is one of those things where I hope with the pandemic and more people riding, we get more people commuting downtown and just riding in general. Because if you watch those videos of people riding in New York, you'll see the cyclists do things that seem insane, right? And very dangerous. But the drivers are also used to it.
Yes.
Everyone is watching for what everyone else is going to do.
Yeah.
It's an ecosystem.
Yeah.
We're not quite there in Birmingham, so there are things that are unpredictable that can happen.
You stop and put your hand on somebody's car and like, get off my car! What are you doing?
Yeah, or you sketch a bus and everyone's
Yeah.
going to look at you like you're insane. And don't sketch a bus in
Don't
Birmingham.
sketch a bus.
Don't sketch a bus ever.
Dude. Well, that's epic. So what's the future of Redemptive? Anything new coming? Big events? Jousting to the death?
Right.
Step
Public
it up.
joust will continue to happen
Okay.
for the rest of eternity because it's a force of nature. Just going to keep doing the good thing, I think. Like to give more bikes away. More butts on bikes. It's kind of the thing.
Yeah.
Butts on bikes, that's good.
No hard plans to share. More butts on bikes is always good. Growing the shop and growing the organization. Expanding our advocacy for cycling in general in Birmingham. I would like to, and maybe through grant writing and whatever it takes to get there, I'd like to see more involvement with kids, getting more disadvantaged children onto bicycles in Birmingham. It's just like every dealer says, get them young.
Get them hooked.
Get them hooked. But there are a lot of kids out there that, they
Maybe don't have access to a decent bike. Yeah.
know maybe about it. They don't have access to a decent bike or a way to maintain it. So I'd like to see programs like that pop up, and I would love for Redemptive to do that. That's a hope and dream of mine.
Are
in my
other
tenure there.
shops doing this kind of like approach to biking that Redemptive's doing? Or, I mean, not to pick on any of the other shops that are like all for profit, but like, do you see any other kind of like giving back to the community, at least in the way that you guys are doing it? You're the first organization I've heard of that's doing like a earn a bike program or the whole
Or the most referred.
the sliding scale.
The most referred when trying to get a new bike. It's
Dude, yeah, I started
Redemptive's
asking
been
around.
thrown out
Everybody's like, Redemptive, man. They're
Yeah.
the way to go. Solid
Hell
dudes
yeah.
go there. They're all. You guys definitely have an excellent reputation.
Yeah.
I mean, Beachy was around. Beachy Co-op.
Are they still around?
Well,
I remember hearing about them in college. They had the little blue
Yeah,
stickers.
Yeah.
Basically, Baker's Dozen is the last vestigial.
Yeah, and I think they still have a trailer too. They did, they had a concrete space in Highland there for a while, and then they were at Make Beham, and now I think they just have a trailer.
Just
That's
disbanded it a little
Yeah,
bit,
yeah.
or maybe not.
I still see some of the faces that used to work there and hang out, but no, I hadn't really talked to them recently.
Cool.
But they were around, and they did an Earn a Bike there for a while, and they were a community bike space there for a minute.
That's awesome. Any other big races coming in the future or anything like that? Or, I mean, I know I see like, the guys from Domestique, they're involved in a lot of different racing and stuff all over the country, I didn't know if you guys have seen like this year, is biking growing in your opinion? Are you seeing more people getting into it? I mean, obviously you would attribute a lot of that to the pandemic, but
Not
just
at the
popularity in general.
Yeah, not at the exponential rate that the pandemic had. I mean, like, just everything that was moving and shaking your body was like insanely growth. But yeah, more folks are getting involved.
Yeah,
I'd say, and more interest in cycling for sure.
There are more group rides. People are getting more serious about the hobby. People are getting more unserious in the way I'm unserious about it, but just, riding bikes for fun and stuff and to get around. You definitely see more people out. Whether or not the momentum is going to keep up is entirely up to people being out there and staying on the city council and such to get infrastructure done. They've got the Complete Streets plan that they're working on.
And what is that?
It is a plan with the city of Birmingham to massively expand micromobility and alternative means of transportation, like bike lanes and such.
Okay, so just getting more bike lanes made. And
Exactly.
Stuff like that.
Like the extension of the Flex Lane program. I hope I said that right. Flex Lane.
I think it's Flex Lane, yeah.
Yeah. On 20th, further down 20th, stuff like that, which is essentially a bike lane, kind of. Just seeing more infrastructure improvements for anyone that gets around in a way that isn't a car. So that's not just cyclists, it's people on the motor scooters or the kick scooters, electric scooters. You know what I mean?
The motor scooters.
People on one wheels, people on roller skates. These are all viable means of getting around downtown. And just no city is really, at least no city in America is really built for them. So all we can do is our best. And all that takes time. But I can assure you that Birmingham is working on it. So I'm excited about the next 5 years.
Anything big planned with the city walk thing for biking in general? I know we got the skate park coming. We've talked about that a few times on other episodes, but
There's a pump track coming to the skate park,
Yeah.
from what I understand. So
And that's
at
be
least
more
be that.
BMX oriented.
Yeah,
but
I was about
BMX
to
is
say.
cycling. So
but as far as like the walking trails and stuff that go throughout the park, are those? I guess you could ride on those on your bike. And,
I don't know offhand if they're going to be bike friendly or not.
No idea.
It's like the Rotary Trail. If you're familiar, you're not supposed to be on a bike on there.
Really?
At all. It's on the sign.
News to me.
yeah, I didn't know that.
It's one of those things. It's like the Vulcan Trail. They don't particularly like. I mean,
I was told not to ride a bike on the Vulcan Trail before, too.
yeah, and that's not like strictly enforced, but I definitely know folks in the Parks Department that have expressed displeasure at cyclists on the Vulcan Trail.
But the Rotary Trail, man, that's like you're off the road.
Yeah, it
you got a
doesn't have
straight,
you-
clear-cut path all the way. I mean,
It's
well,
great for skateboarding.
it gets back to people being considerate. Don't go fast on a jogger. Don't be a jerk.
yeah.
That's true.
Stuff like that.
I guess if I had my dog run over by a cyclist that wasn't paying attention, I'd be a little upset. I tell you what, the memes and stuff on the internet, at least the ones I follow, they are not kind to cyclists.
Oh, no.
No, there's like this
Dude.
irrational anger
Oh
that
my
it just
gosh.
elicits.
Dude, there was this one I saw, it made me laugh so hard. It was like from Animal Crossing, and it's like cyclists right before they go out to ignore every law of the road, and it's a character for Animal Crossing looking at himself in the mirror. He's like, I am a car. And just, I don't know, some of the pages I follow, they've got it out for, I guess they live in bigger cities where, cycling could be more of a nuisance, I guess, if you're not in the scene or
Was it
whatever.
like a shithead Steve?
Yes, I was about to say.
Yeah, he did
That
a
is
rip.
who I'm
Yeah.
talking about. He had somebody come across. Whoever manages that meme page, literally, it's like every other one. He's making fun of like cyclists.
Well, it
and
was like
stuff.
he caught like so much reaction from that. He was like, "Oh, let's do it
Yeah.
again. Yes, it's making bucks. Let's go."
He had one of William Dafoe from the Spider. That was a recent one from the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man. And he like haphazardly cropped a helmet and glasses on him. It's the scene where he's like choking the scientist right when
Yeah.
he turns into the Goblin, and his something about like you have to ride in the bike lane. A cyclist when he's told he has to ride in the bike lane,
Right.
it's like not gonna happen. I don't know. It's funny.
Or like Bobby from King of the Hill, where he's taking like he's outside of the class.
He's got the poster,
Right,
yeah.
it's like it's a stop sign, and it's like, man, those cyclists would be real angry if they could
Think if they could read. Yeah, that's so funny you bring that up. But I was like, man, somebody on that account, he got wronged by a bike or something.
something.
Well, I mentioned earlier, like if you're cycling in Birmingham, you have all the rights and obligations of a car, which means
But maybe people are ignorant to that. and are
Oh,
like,
absolutely.
Get out of the road, you
some
moron!
some of the police in the city are ignorant to it.
Really?
I've had police officers tell me to get on the sidewalk, and I'm just like, I'm not going to argue with you, but that's not right.
Right.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Yeah. Or
I had to
like-
wear. I was told by a cop down by Regent's Field that like during a
remember
game day, that was like, where's your safety vest and everything? And I'm like,
where's your high vis? Where's your PT belt?
what?
Your PT belt.
Where's my PT belt?
What?
No, I was like, I don't need that. And he's like, you do need that. And I was like, okay. So I ran back to the shop and I printed out every cycling law in the state of Alabama. And
Just
he was
keep
like,
it in your wallet?
No,
or
no.
something?
And then I rode back up there and I was like, here
You
you
were
go.
that much of it? Oh, dude.
I was like, here you go, shithead.
I fully supported this as like Godspeed. Yes.
Yeah.
I'm going to ride back to the shop, print out all the laws, bring it back to this person.
It was only a block, so it was worth it.
Oh, okay.
It was absolutely worth it.
That's funny, man.
Well, there are things that can be done. It's just like equal rights, equal fights, but no fight between a car and a bike is ever going to be equal. So how do we what do we do about that? And then there's a thing called the Idaho Stop that I love to death, and I wish should be in all 50 states. Are y'all familiar with this?
The Idaho Stop?
Yeah, it's called the Idaho Stop.
No, I've not heard of it.
It's a law enacted in Idaho in, I don't know the year offhand, 70s or 80s, something like that. Yeah. I'm sorry, I turned away from the mic.
No, you're good.
So what it is, briefly, is that cyclists can treat stop signs as yield signs and stoplights as stop signs. And this makes a lot of sense for traffic flow and for the way that cyclists use the roads, and it keeps them moving when cars are stopped. So think about it. You come to a stop light. There's a line of cars. They have to wait, ideally, and they should. They got AC. Of course they should wait. But a cyclist could, of course, go to the right, go ahead, have ample time to look left and right, and then, seeing that there's no one oncoming, they can go ahead and get ahead of the line of cars. So they don't have to be in the line, splitting the line of cars up. They don't have cars trying to go around them, either observing or not observing the 3-foot law, which is another one. You get a lot of close calls and passes. Just so everyone knows, if you're passing cyclists in the city of Birmingham, you need to stay at least 3 feet away from them. Please, please, please. And then, of course, with stop signs being yield signs, since cyclists are not going 30 miles an hour, they can come to a slow rolling stop. They can check their visibility, and if no one is oncoming, they can simply go.
Less likely getting hit by a cyclist is going to destroy if you're in a vehicle, going to kill you or, anything like that. So
yeah, and it starts the conversation of equal rights, equal fights. The fights are not equal, so maybe the laws need to be adjusted a little bit. And hopefully it's to make everything more egalitarian, to keep everyone safer.
Yeah.
That's something to think about.
Well, I tip my hat to you gentlemen for riding around downtown. I go skate and stuff sometimes, but I'm usually on a sidewalk and out of the street. And yeah, it just seems dangerous. Get killed.
I mean, I've had wrecks too. I haven't been hit by a bus. I've been doored, which is
hit by a bus.
Sorry.
Yeah. I got hit by a door and split my bicep like a grape.
Whoa! Awesome. Just somebody just opened the door on you while you're riding by?
Yeah, it's happened real fast. I was just going fair clip. I was going at least 13, 14 miles an hour, which is not like enormously fast, but this was through 5 points, and then all of a sudden truck door opens. I'm flipping through midair. Thank goodness I had my backpack on, because it probably saved my back because I rolled over it. And then the only reason it happened, it was perfect, but I was getting basically chased by a really aggressive, I remember, white Jeep Grand Cherokee. And my immediate thought, as adrenaline filled my brain, is like, I'm going to land in the road and this thing is going to run me over. Oh. And I didn't remember it passing me. I don't know where it went. I don't know. It just disappeared.
You got to get out in the woods, man. That's scary. Yeah.
Oh,
y'all are crazy.
So bad. To their credit, the gentleman that was responsible for it was an absolute sweetheart. Everything went perfectly. Everything was done correctly. Everyone was fine. Everything's good.
Accidents happen.
Oh, absolutely. And we got to talk about the Dutch Reach. Everything is a teachable moment. That's another one for the audience. The Dutch Reach is, if you park a car, consider opening the door with your right hand, because it forces you to turn and engage your peripheral vision.
Okay.
And if the
I
Dutch are
see
doing
where
it,
you're going with that.
It's got to be good for cyclists.
Dude,
if the Dutch do it.
man, they're the smart ones.
Instead of just like Ken Block kicking your door open, just like, yeah.
Sorry, I'm gonna close my eyes and just sling the door open.
Good luck, everybody.
Did I kill anybody?
I'm going to take this opportunity to talk about all this.
But then the new Teslas, they come out, they'll take your head off.
No, that's honestly, it's conversations that have been had. That the way those doors open, and are they called gull-wing doors?
Yeah.
In
like
general,
the DeLorean doors. Or whatever.
Yeah, those things for
Mercedes.
cyclists are terrifying. You should be actually terrified of those, because if it's at
dude,
the right
that's
place,
space level, man.
neck level.
Oh, dude.
Yeah, getting
Get decapitated, yeah.
That would not be good.
Head on a swivel,
crazy.
assume no one can see you and everything is trying to kill you. If you just stay in that incredibly tense mindset, it's great.
You'll
yeah, you get
love
to enjoy your
biking.
ride. It's great.
Oh my god.
So I asked this question earlier. Do you guys offer any kind of like safety classes or a course or something?
The closest we've done, and that's an excellent idea.
Just to learn the hand signals and stuff.
No, yeah.
Just all that.
I think that is a great idea and something that is sorely needed, and a vacuum that can be filled. We've offered learning to ride a bike as an adult classes, which is sort of like that. And in a very real way, coming to the trample is that.
Okay.
Because it is an excellent opportunity to introduce yourself to group rides, And
Probably a
not
little
like-
safer being in a big group
Yeah,
versus out by
Yes.
yourself too.
And of
Sure.
course, we have our cork team to keep everyone together. It's a swept ride, so we have someone at the back to make sure no one is left behind. We give a safety announcement, which goes over things like half wheeling and shoulder checking and
Railroad tracks.
railroad tracks.
I didn't think
Always a
about
T.
those.
Always a T.
Oh yeah.
Try to go over a little bit of an angle.
Dude will suck your wheel up and just body slam you into the
Dude.
pavement. It's awful.
Oh man,
And when they're wet, they turn into ice.
sure.
It's awful. But I would say the closest thing that Birmingham has to that is coming to the trample and learning how to ride with other people, seeing how that can be predictable and unpredictable. And you get to have a good time and hang out with people.
Good
while you do it.
environment. Yeah.
Yeah,
That sounds
absolutely.
awesome.
Dude, really cool.
And that's every Thursday night. Meet at the shop at 6.
Every Thursday, rain or shine,
Rain or
holiday.
shine.
Thursday.
Yeah, that's cool, man. Well, earlier we kind of mentioned or maybe we didn't talk at length about it, but tell me about the whole sliding scale
Yeah.
payment thing and how that works.
Well, so sliding scale repair is basically like pay what you can repairs. It's for folks that rely on their bicycles as their main means of transportation. So say that you bring your bike in and you need $100 worth of work done to your bike, and you have $25 to your name that you can take and pay.
Sorry, come back when you got it
No,
all.
Right. No, we don't. We can't turn people away because transportation equity is very, very important. Everybody deserves to be able to get around at their own pace and
Sure.
to get where they need to go. But so yeah, you need $100 worth of work done to your bike. You have $25 to your name. You can pay $25 and we'll take and foot the bill for the other $75. And we come up with that through grant writing and the funds that we make through doing repairs and selling bikes and blase skippy.
So when you guys aren't repairing bikes, you're working on grant writing and getting funding
All
that
those
way.
things. Yes.
Easy task.
Got to take
Yeah.
and pull in all the money
Yeah.
that we can. Yes.
Who does your? How many grants do you guys get, and how do you apply for those grants? And that's a whole ball game, man. I can't imagine.
Yeah, it's terrifying.
Yeah, I wish our executive director, Olivia Hart, were here to answer that question. She would have better numbers.
Sounds
for
like
you.
more of an executive director position
yes.
task. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Not having Taylor, hey, when you get done putting that bike tire on, I really need you to edit,
Just start writing this grant.
jump over in Microsoft Word and get that hammered out. Yeah.
Well, having exposure to the concept of grant writing is one of the cool things about the organization and working there, because we're passionate about bikes, but we're also all passionate about helping people, and that's why we're there. And the nonprofit sector is a great way to do that. And I cannot imagine a better situation in Birmingham for someone who cares about both of those things to have that experience in both directions. Grants and such were harder to get during the pandemic, which is why the bike boom was so incredibly fortunate, particularly for a shop such as ours. A lot of shops, believe it or not, closed in 2020, not just due to government mandates, but due to not being able to get product to sell.
Sure. If they didn't anticipate the boom, like you said, some of the bike manufacturers even were like, well, we're not going to sell any bikes. Let's just close this thing down. And then maybe if you're a shop owner, I don't know. I'm just jumping at,
Oh, I mean,
guessing.
I know we were talking about sliding scale, but the part of the challenge of 2020 as a bike shop is there was a solid month, plus or minus some number of weeks, that you couldn't get tubes.
Whoa.
Like
Tube shortage.
you couldn't get chains, you couldn't get anything.
Well, I guess we saw that across the whole economy. It's just like everything came to a halt.
And that was the huge challenge. And I cannot overstate how proud I am of everyone that works in the shop. I've said it before and I'll say it again. In a time when it was harder than ever to find a bike, we continued to find bikes to give away. It's just something I'm going to be proud of for the rest of my
That's
life.
very impressive, man. Especially the sheer number that you're doing, even on a good year. Just making sure that you can meet that demand for bikes and stuff. Have you guys seen that demand grow or stay the same or shrink in any way as the city seems to be growing and bike culture seems to be growing?
Growth in every direction. It would be hard to quantify which sectors, be it hobbyists and new cyclists versus like sliding scale, what we call clients, people that rely on bikes for transportation. It would be hard to quantify the growth in any direction. I'm sure I could sit down with the numbers and do it, but I have seen growth in every direction. There's just generally more people riding bikes.
Sure. That's awesome.
Yeah, that's always good.
Absolutely. I will say the sliding scale program is for anyone that relies on a bicycle for transportation.
I got $10 and I need some new tires.
Yeah, the only hard line, if you own a car, sorry. I'm a big old softy though, so you could probably talk me into it. But it's not. I mean, we exist very specifically for homeless outreach, but also broadly cycling advocacy for anyone that cycles in Birmingham. So low income students, anyone that needs the help.
Yeah.
We're just here to help.
Awesome. Like I said, I got $10. I'm gonna come in and give me new helmets.
He's
going
gonna
to
show up in his brand new Tacoma.
I'll trade you a
drop off
camera.
his bike.
No, I'm kidding.
Oh yeah, sure.
But that's awesome, man. That's a really cool thing that you guys are doing. The whole organization sounds really rad, and it's really cool that you guys came and talked to us. And
Yeah, definitely.
No, thank
told
you
us
so much
more
for the
about
invite.
what you guys do, and if somebody wanted to come volunteer or get more involved with you guys, what's the best way to reach out and become a part of the redemptive movement that you guys have going on?
I mean, as simple as like literally just showing up to the shop anytime that we're open,
Yeah.
Tuesday through Saturday, 10 to 6. Well, 10 to 5 on Saturdays, but literally just show up. And, with the volunteering, it doesn't have to be a commitment that I'm going to be here 4 hours helping, or I don't know how to work on a bike.
About to
I
say
don't
I have
know.
zero experience,
Yeah,
but
yeah. That like, I don't know what I'm doing. It's like, well, no, just come down. We'll teach you how to do as much as you want to learn to do and help. And it can be everything from 30 minutes on your lunch break to I want to be here all day, or I'm going to volunteer for an entire week.
It's chill.
It's that simple.
Yeah, that's so cool.
Come hang.
well, that's awesome, guys. Thank you guys so much for coming and telling us about Redemptive and I don't know, just talking about bikes and stuff. And we'll try to get you guys back on.
We will see
sure.
you at the joust.
At the
Yes.
joust,
We
yeah,
will
yeah,
be there.
yeah. The Bloodfest, that is the joust.
Dude, you guys are going to love it. I mean, it's amazing.
it's
It is
super
literally
fun.
amazing.
And it obviously, if anyone out there wants to know more about the organization, we do have a website at redemptivecycles.com. I think there's a .org up as well. But a Google search for Redemptive Cycles will take you where you need to go.
Cool.
And all the normal social medias. We've got Instagram and Facebook. Best way to find out what we're doing. And I will say, like, if anyone out there has a rust bucket or maybe not so rust bucket sitting in their garage, sitting in the weeds in the back, anything in any condition can help the mission. If you want it to live a productive life, we will do our best to do that.